You know, one thing I want to know is what happens if you disconnect this while riding? All right guys, so in today's video, we're gonna be reviewing the HiKNiGHT GTX1. Now you guys might have seen this bike on Amazon and a lot of other people reviewing it because this is a hot bike on the market right now, especially if you're a kid, because this thing is coming in at $1,100. But what are you getting for $1,100? So that's what I'm gonna tell you in today's video. We're gonna go over the specs really quick, take it out for a ride, and I'm gonna give you guys my honest feedback by the end of this video. First and foremost, before we do that, I wanna let you guys know this bike was sent to me for free by the company, but that's not gonna change my judgment on this review. Something I do wanna point out is that the shipping box could have been a little tiny bit better because as you can see, mine got really damaged on the side, and all these plastics do have a cover on them, but it was so bad it went all the way through it. And if I bought this bike myself, I'd be a little disappointed on that. So maybe you'd contact the company if you do have that issue, but hopefully you don't. But anyways, let's get this seat popped off. It uses the key, so you just turn it and it undoes the latch. Doing that will give us access to the battery. So there is a switch down here if you want to turn the battery on and off. It also has a little hook for the battery connector, so you can just pull it up, which makes it very nice. Here is the battery specs. It's 48 volt, 54.6 is the max charge, 20.8 amp hours, and 998 watt hours. And if you want to pull that battery out of the bike, it does have a nice handle, so you just got to grip onto it really good and pull it out. Now at this point, you could take this battery wherever you want, inside your house, wherever to charge it, which the charger they give you is 2.5 amps, so it's going to take a few hours to charge this bad boy up. And if you want to know the charge while you're charging off of the bike, there is a button right here to show you where the battery level's at. Now something I thought was interesting when I took the battery out is all the foam that's surrounding the battery. Now this seems like the cheap route to go, but I'll tell you right now, this battery is nice, secure, and snug in there. And if you did want to get a bigger battery in there, you can start ripping all this foam out and you'll have a little bit more room to fit something bigger in there. And then to put the battery in, very simple. There is no locking mechanism on this battery, and you might be wondering how this stays down and it doesn't move all over the place. Well, if you look underneath the seat, you do have this right here, and this is what sits on top of the battery, keeping it snug on the bottom, which is nice because there's no bolts, no screws, nothing to take out. You can literally pull this battery in and out whenever you need to. And then putting this seat on is as simple as just sliding it right there and just hitting it on the back. There are no grooves right here that you got to push it underneath like an RTR or anything like that. So very easy to take the seat on and off. Now here's a look at that mid-drive motor. This thing has an output of 2,000 watts. The only thing I don't like about this setup, the geometry is great, don't get me wrong, but trying to put a bike stand under here is gonna be difficult. Now check this out. This is what's nice. This bike comes with a far driver controller, meaning we could tune this bike to get more speed and power out of it down the road. And above that on the side, if you don't wanna take the battery out, you can actually charge it from the side of the bike. So that's very nice. You don't have to take that seat off every time. Now looking at the front, we have some dot brakes, and they have some big brake levers. This is kind of the similar thing that's coming on the 2TOs and the Valtenzu EM5. What's nice though is you get a headlight on this one, and you get a nice big fender to block you off from water and dirt. You got a 14-inch wheel up front, you got a 12-inch in the back, and it looks like you have 180 millimeter rotors. And in the back, you have a 45-2 sprocket, and I love the fact that it's black because it blends in with the bike and matches. What does throw me off a little bit is the white spring they put in the back. It does have a little collar right here, so you can adjust it and make it a little bit more stiffer, because this bike, for some reason, holds up to 550 pounds of a rider, which blows my mind, and it's crazy. The bike for me, already just testing it up and down my block, was very soft, so I'm a little worried that someone that's gonna be 300 pounds riding this thing, I feel like you do have to change out that rear spring, just because you're gonna bottom it out if you actually take it off dirt jumps and everything like that. So just be iffy on if you are a heavier rider. Now, the weight of the bike is 114 pounds, so it doesn't feel super heavy, especially for what it is. But here's how I look sitting on it at 5'9". I'm 163 pounds. And I gotta say, it definitely feels smaller than anything else I've been on. Like, it's smaller than an RTR, it's smaller than the Valtenzu EM5, it feels smaller than the 2TO Soleo 1. So just keep in mind, this has a more compact frame to me. It's not as wide as some of those other ones. And look at just me sitting right here, look how that suspension moves up and down. It's gonna be great for riding in the road. Jumping, I don't know. Now let's show you how the front of the bike turns on and everything like that. The same key that takes off the seat is the same one for the ignition. So you have the on right there, and you can hear that far driver beep. Your display comes on, everything like that. It is in park mode, so to take it out of park mode, you have to touch the brake. Doesn't matter which one, it could be the right or the left. And then if you turn it one more time, that is when your headlight comes on. And keep in mind, all we have is a headlight. We do not have a brake light on this bike. Now here's something that I thought was really, really cool. This is a plug that it's magnetic, and if you take it off, the bike will actually put an error code and it will start beeping. The throttle won't work. No one can take your bike. The only way they're gonna take it is they lift it up off the ground and throw it in a truck, but they're not gonna be able to ride off with it if you disconnect this. So to me, this is basically like a cheap little alarm system, but it's pretty cool. And you can also change the lanyard on here if you want. You don't have to have it this long. I kind of just wrapped it around the handlebars, but it is gonna flap around a little bit, but you can always just take this whole entire piece off. Now, one thing we gotta do on this bike is you can see that it says kilometers right here. That's how yours is probably gonna come. So you hold the plus and negative. The first one is for the display brightness, but we don't really need to change that. We can see how it gets darker. So we're gonna leave it on 3, that's the brightest. We're gonna hit the power button, go over to 2, and then hit the minus, that's gonna go into miles. And then basically just exit out of that. We're not changing the voltage or anything like that. And now we have miles per hour instead of kilometers. Now I noticed every single time I went into the settings and popped out of it, it always gives you like an error code 10, and then you just basically have to turn the bike off and turn it back on. I don't know why it does that, but you're good to go after that. If you want any information on this display when you're in the main settings, this is your odometer right here. If you hit the power button, it'll show you your trip. If you hit it again, it will show you your voltage. If you hit it again, it'll show you the time the bike's been on. And if you hit it again, it will go back to odometer. Now, if you want to go up in power modes, because it has 3 modes, you hit the plus button. That'll bring you into 2 and 3. 3 is the highest and the most speed we're going to get out of it, which should be about 32 miles an hour. If you always want to lower it, you just hit the minus button. You can go all the way down to 1. You cannot put it in 0, so it doesn't have a non-electric mode. So just keep in mind, it's always going to be active when it's out of park mode. And that should be everything you need to know about the HiKNiGHT GTX1. Now let's go take this thing out for a rip and see how it performs. All right, so let's get this thing turned on. Now we can turn it all the way over so our headlight's on, or we could just have it right in the middle. Because it's daytime, I'll save the battery a little bit. It's not like it wears it down too much, but you don't have to have the headlight on all the time. Let's get it out of park mode by hitting the brakes, and we'll leave it in 1 for now. Now you guys probably notice I don't have my phone up here, and that's because there's actually no room to put your phone. Like maybe I could put it right here, however, it would block this display. Can't put it over here because you have this cool thing that if you pull it, it will cut all power to the bike and give you an error code. You could put it way down here and put your phone sideways, but it's a little awkward. So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna record with my phone in my pocket so we know what our highest top speed is. Right now I am in mode 1, and this display says I'm hitting about 14 miles an hour. Realistically, it feels about 11. Let's bump it up into 2. Oh yeah. Definitely gave us a lot more power right there. Now it says we're doing about 20 miles an hour flat, almost 21, but it feels closer to about 17 or 18. All right, so let's bump it up into 3. There we go. Got a little vibration from the pedals on this thing. You can definitely feel it at that lower RPM. There we go, 31.6 miles an hour. Holy crap. This thing feels way light and nimble compared to all the other bikes, like the 2TO and the Valtenzu. This definitely feels like it will just take a turn quick. You gotta be careful, man. This thing is very light and nimble. It's kind of nice. It's funny because I thought my Valtenzu bike felt like it handled really good compared to the 2TO Soleil, but no, this thing takes the cake. Now just imagine this thing on some supermotos. This thing, man, you'd be carving on this thing. We're coming up a slight hill right now, nothing crazy, but it's still holding its top speed. Oh yeah, that's good to know. Now at low speeds, you can really hear this chain. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it's very quiet when you're kind of rolling. It's actually quieter than some of the other pit bikes, but when you let off, the way the chain tensioner is, it is definitely making a whole lot of noise right in this section. I believe it's this plastic piece right here, so it doesn't damage the frame, but it's riding right on that. And then also, I think when the chain kind of comes loose and moves a little bit, I think it's running into this piece right here, which is nice it has it, because it's going to keep a lot of oil and dirt and everything flying all over the place, especially like on the back of your shirt or your pants. However, if you want to get rid of that noise, tighten the chain a little bit, or possibly take that off, and it'll help a little. All right, so I'm gonna hold about 30 miles an hour because I feel like this is about 28, and I'm gonna see how it stops at this fire hydrant right here. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. Whew. All right, well, that wasn't the best. I mean, the brakes worked how they were supposed to, but I mean, we slid so far, all I smell is rubber. Oh, just to get the stop faster, I tried to zigzag real quick, but yeah, we stopped pretty far. Now, I'm noticing on the throttle response, it is very quick. It's instant. As soon as you pull it, it's instant. I really like that. When I want the power, I want it right when I pull that throttle, and that's exactly how it is. Now let's try to take this thing off-road a little bit. Oh yeah. Damn, this thing is so light and nimble out here, it's crazy. You know what, this actually has decent power. I know we're not hitting like 37 miles an hour like some of these other bikes, but it is going over this pretty damn good. Oh yeah. Oh, no issue. Hell yeah. Now maybe when your battery goes down a little bit, it might struggle. But as of right now, in a full battery charge, I feel like we're ripping through this. Whoa, the brakes, man, the brakes. They just locked up and I slid. All right, here's some gravel right here. Going over this perfectly fine with these dirt tires we have on here. Not a single issue for this bike. It is so comfortable. Really, really comfortable. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about jumping this thing without replacing the suspension on, because it is very plush suspension. It's perfect for what I'm doing right now. But a heavy rider and big air jumps, I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna handle it too well. Is road even done? Oh, it is, road's done. Technically, I don't think we're supposed to be out here because it looks like they are getting the road ready to put some cement on, but this is my only exit over here. Everything else was blocked off. But it went through everything perfectly fine. Oh yeah, there's a lot of construction over here. Let's see how it does coming over this. Oh yeah, no problems, even over those rocks. Nice and planted, that did not hurt at all. Now the seat is very small. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about that, but to me, it's not an issue. But I gotta say, I don't think the seat is going to be very comfortable for a very heavy rider. It doesn't have a lot of cushion in it. Whoa, what did we go into right now? Oh, it's foggy. It's like Halloween. All right, so what I wanna do, we've been riding for a little bit. The bike actually tells us how long we've been riding. I'm at 49.2 volts, and that's under throttle. If I let off, I know it's gonna go up. And it looks like it's continuing to go up, but it takes a little bit. I think it's going up to about 51 volts almost, 50.9. If I go over, we've been out here for 11 minutes and we've done 4 miles. And if I go onto my phone, it says our max top speed was 31 miles per hour flat. So that's actually in line with what they say. They say max is 32 miles an hour, and this is without any tuning on this controller. You can actually tune this controller, so that's why this bike is kind of nice to buy, because you can actually get more top speed out of it after you adjust it with the FarDriver app. But we're gonna save that for another video. So, I mean, their claim is right on what they say. If I was a little bit lighter, I'd probably be hitting 32 miles an hour. Dude, that thing is flying around everywhere. Definitely gonna have to shorten that or something like that. I can't have that moving all over the place. I want you guys to know that my type of range on this bike is gonna be worst case scenario, because I feel like my average speed around on this bike so far has probably been like 25 miles an hour. I have not really let off the throttle. I am trying to ride everywhere at max speed at all times, just to see what type of range this bike will get. All right, let's do a little bit more off-roading. See how this wheel slides around corners. Oh yeah, it's nice. Feels planted too. I mean, I'm full throttle around there. I mean, that was only about 25, 26 miles an hour, but I didn't feel like I was gonna slip out or anything like that. It's not like these tires are crazy expensive or really good, but they're holding on. Woo, all right. Now we're in the section where I wanna come uphill and I wanna see how well it's gonna do. So I am going to put it in mode 1 just for curiosity's sake, and I wanna see how it's gonna climb this thing. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. Definitely slow, but I just wanted to see if it would do it. And yes, it's maxed out. I mean, it's not gonna go any faster than that. And we climbed it, no problem. Now let's do that again in mode 3. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. Oh, almost popped a wheelie right there. You can definitely wheelie this bike. I've seen people doing it all online. And there we go, that said roughly about 19 miles an hour, but I know the speed is off by about 2 or 3, so Probably about 15 or 16 coming up that. Let's see how it handles this real quick. Woo! Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, this thing is a blast actually. It's so light and nimble. It's just so fun and like quick to like get through stuff. What the hell? What the helly? All right, the bridge test should go right through. These handlebars are not wide at all. Didn't really need to slow down if I didn't need to. These handlebars are definitely very short. I feel like as we've been riding, we're at 7 miles right now, and I feel like that chain just keeps getting louder and louder and louder, but I think it's just rubbing on against a bunch of stuff, and I feel like the looser it gets, the louder that chain is going to be with hitting on the plastic down there. The bridge test, oh yeah, went through that quick. Woo! Dude, oh, sand, we're in the sand. Whoa! Oh yeah, this thing is actually fun. It just needs to be tuned. It definitely needs to be tuned. Need more power out of this thing. All right, next test we gotta do. I gotta show you the 0 to 31 mile per hour. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. That's full throttle. I thought I was gonna have to lean far over on this bike, but 20, we're already past 20. I thought I was gonna have a little bit more torque than that. But there we go, 31 miles an hour, we're done. So that doesn't take too long to get up to speed. Again, the top speed is decent. It's a little bit over class 3, but of course it is just not as fast as some of the other pit bikes out there. However, keep in mind the price. Let's see how it goes over these dividers if you don't slow down. Oh yeah, no problem at all. This bike feels so light, I feel like you just bunny hop it off of stuff. All right, so it just switched over to 9 miles, but I believe at 7 or 8 miles, we went down our first battery bar. If I go over to the voltage right now, we're sitting at 46.1 volts for 8 miles. So I'll put the chart up on the screen so you guys can see where we're at. That is under throttle though, keep in mind, if I do let off the throttle, it will go up a little bit, which probably will be about almost 48 volts. Yeah, about 47.7. And we've been out here for 26 minutes. I kind of like how it tells you the time. As long as you don't turn your bike off, it'll tell you how long you've been outside. Oh, it looks like we went down another battery bar. So we have 3 left at almost 10 miles. That 9 miles is gonna switch over any second. And there we go, 10 miles. And there you guys have it. That was my first initial impression and overview of the bike, just in case you didn't know all about it. My thoughts on it are it's priced right because you have the 2TO at about $1,400. You do have those Alibaba bikes a little bit under that, but I think they're gonna keep going up in price and they're gonna match this very soon. But I gotta say, it's pretty nice the way they kept it very light and it handles very good. The geometry of this thing is absolutely nice. Like riding it feels absolutely fun. Even though it doesn't have the power that all these other bikes do, it's really, really fun riding this thing. One complaint I do want to show you really quick, and the reason why I have my handlebars turned all the time when I put this thing up on the kickstand, and I'm actually on a road that's slanted like this, look how straight up and down this bike is. So it actually fell over twice in my garage, and that wasn't because of all this damage. That was actually out of the box. So trust me, when this bike does fall over, it's gonna get scratched right here. The pegs are gonna get scratched. They actually took a chunk out of my driveway. That sucks. And then I believe it hits right here on the handlebars. So that's the only complaint I really have about this bike is the kickstand needs to be adjusted. So if you guys do happen to find a kickstand replacement, I would definitely get something that's shorter than that, and you can do it right here with these 2 bolts, or what you can do is try to heat this up and bend it a little bit because the kickstand is really gonna kill this bike. I really feel like it's gonna fall over my garage again and hit all my other bikes that are lined up, but other than that, it's a great bike. It says speed right here, and that's what we're gonna probably do in the next video is tune this up to get more top speed out of it. So I'll see you guys in the second video. Like and subscribe this thing, drop a comment if you guys have been looking at this bike, and if you like this video review. And real quick, I don't wanna leave you guys hanging on where the voltage left off after 10 miles. It's probably about 10 and a half until I got to this location. But if I go over, we're sitting at 47.8 volts. So you can see it on the chart right there. And that will give you an idea of what type of range you guys are gonna get out of this bike. Realistically, I'm gonna say about 20 to 25 miles of range if you use a throttle in mode 3 all the time. And you can probably get about 40 if you ride in mode 1 and don't always cap yourself out in mode 1. You're just kind of hanging back and just chilling at about like 5 to 10 miles an hour. But I don't see see you getting 60 or 70 miles out of this bike. You just can't. There's no way. But the cool thing is you can upgrade that battery if you want. You're gonna have to find a company that's gonna make the battery first, but you can take that foam out and fit something bigger in there. So just keep that in mind. I'll see you guys until the next one. You know, one thing I wanna know is what happens if you disconnect this while riding?